Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to Connecteam webinar that will focus on restaurants today. My name is Almog, and I'm a customer success manager here at Connecteam, and I will lead this webinar. Just a few notes before we start. First of all, during the webinar, I'll be talking. I won't stop, it's kind of a monologue, but if you guys have any questions, you can't see them, but just next to me are my colleagues Sean and Shachaf, and they're exactly here to support me and to answer all your questions. So if you have any questions, you have a dedicated button at the bottom of your screen, Q&A button, so ask it directly from there, and we will be more than happy to answer your questions. Second of all, this webinar is being recorded, but don't worry, we can't see you. We can see only me and the screen I'm sharing. And that's, of course, because we want to share this webinar with whoever didn't make it to the webinar. So without any more words, I think we'll start. A few words before I actually dive into the system, and I want to tell you what we're about to go over today. So we'll touch three main features, operation features that Connecteam offer to restaurants companies. We'll talk about Job Scheduler. I'll show you how easy it is to create your weekly schedule and how to create your shifts with all the information, such as when and where your employees has to work and what's their job. And I'll show you, of course, how to publish it. Later on, we'll talk about Time Clock. I'll show you how easy it is to conduct your payrolls and to control anything regarding your business working hours, such as overtime, double time, absences, breaks, and so on. And at the end, we'll talk about forms. I'll share with you a little secret. I used to be a restaurants manager myself, so I know how many different forms you're managing during your day-to-day. So I'll show you how to convert those forms into a digital version, and of course, how to create any reports that you want. So everything will be digital, very clear. If there is any problem, you'll be to fix it on the spot, and you'll never need to handle with pen and papers and with handwriting. So let's start. So this is the Connecteam system. As a manager, when I first log in, I will get to the overview page. In the overview page, basically, I will get basic statistics regarding my employees' engagement with the application for a specific period or for the current day. Here on the left, I'll see all the different features that Connecteam offers. And as I promised, today we'll talk about job scheduling, time clock, and forms. In order to go to open my different schedules, I click on the job scheduling and I will get to the job scheduling lobby. In the job scheduling lobby, I will see all the different schedules that I have. A reason to open more than one schedule can be if I want to create a dedicated schedule for different restaurants, of course, if I have more than one, if I want to create different schedule for each department, for each team, for each branch, and so on. When I want to access the schedule, all I have to do is to click on the blue button here, and then I'll get to the main view of the manager. So let's see together what can we achieve here. So as you can see, our schedule is built like a simple calendar. We have three different views. We have a daily view where you can have like a Gantt view. We have a weekly view, which most likely you will use because I know that restaurants are publishing their shift once a week. And of course, we have also a monthly view where you can get an overall view on entire month. For now, I'll stay with the weekly view. Here on top, we have all our day and dates, and on the left, a list of all the users. And if I want to know who is working when, all I have to do is to cross between a name and a date. And then, for example, I can see that Brett Johnson is having a shift on December 14th, between 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and that his job is a waiter. Now, before actually showing you how to create a shift, first I want you to understand what do I mean by the word job. When I will click on the jobs button, the list of my different jobs will appear. Now, jobs in Connecteam is just a semantic. Job is anything you want to track time for. Basically, it can be the name of your different restaurants, it can be the name of different clients, and so on. In your case, your jobs will be the name of the different roles. So as you can see here, I have bartender and host and shift manager and waiter. And of course, if I want to add one more job, I click here on add job. I give it a name, new job. I can even qualify specific users or a specific group that they will be the only one that will be able to perform this job. I can add location and description, but when I'm happy, all I have to do is to press save job and it will be in my jobs list. So now that we understand what job is, let me show you simply how easy it is to create a shift. So let's say I want to give a shift to Brett Johnson on Friday, December 17th. So all I have to do is to stand on the square, to press on the plus button, and then the shift modal will appear. And here, guys, all you have to do is to add all the information that you want Brett Johnson will get when you will publish the shift. So I have the date. I can define the start time and end time. I will select the job. Let's say he is a waiter. I can add a shift title, which will be any additional information that you want to add to the shift. It can be morning or evening shift. It can be first, second, third waiter. It can be opening and closing shift. For now, I'll stay with the evening shift. In the users will be all the users, all the employees that will perform this shift. I can even create an open shift and define how many open spots are available. And managers will be able to select from all the employees that claim this shift, who will actually get it, who will perform it. I can add a location that will be clickable for your, from your employee's mobile phone. If, for example, you're providing food and service for an external event. And in the note, I can add any additional information that I want that they will get. If I want special dress code for Christmas, if I'm managing a private event in the restaurants and I want them to know the menu in advance, and so on and so on. In the attach, I can attach any image or file that I want. I can even click on the shortcut and add a digital form that I prepared in advance, and we'll talk about it in a few. But let's say I will select the shift manager closing report. So it will be Brett Johnson will be able to reach this form directly from the shift. I can add shift tasks. I can make this shift repeat. And when I'm done, I have here at the bottom two different options, publish and save draft. If I will click publish, Brett Johnson will get this shift here and now to his mobile phone with all this information. But I do have the ability also to save shift as draft. I will click save draft because I want you to see that here is the shift that I just created. So you can see that every box in this schedule represents a different shift and every color represents a different job. So everything is very visual. And every shift you can just make changes. You can drag and drop it to different day, to different user. And when you're happy, all you have to do is to click publish and everybody will get the shifts directly to their mobile phone. So this is one way of creating your schedule, but I want to show you one more way. When I'm clicking on view by users, I have here one more view, which is the view by jobs. As you can see, instead of all my users, I have here the list of all my different jobs. And in the view by jobs, basically what I can do, I can create all the shifts for each and every job and for the entire week without assigning anyone. And then I can go back to the view by users and quickly dispatch. Let me show you an example. So let's say I know that I need for Friday 2 morning hosts. So all I have to do again is to click on the plus button, the same modal will appear. I add here everything I want, any information that I want to add, and I will make this shift even as open because I need 2 hosts. And at the end, I'll save this shift as draft. So here's the shift I just created. Now, just imagine that you're creating all the shifts for all the jobs and all the days. I'll go back now to the view by users, and the shift I just created will appear in the shift without users row. And now all I have to do is simply dispatch. So I want to give this person this shift, but he's unavailable, okay? So maybe I'll take it, sorry. So I'll give it to someone else, okay? And again, when everything is done, all I have to do is to press publish, and that's it. Before I move on, I want to remind you guys that you are more than welcome to ask more questions, and I will continue. So Now you all understand how to create your schedule. So I want to show you some advanced tool that you can use using the job scheduler of Connecteam. So as you already know, this is the list of all my users, but Brett Johnson is a waiter, and Charlie is a shift manager, and Leslie is a host. And I want to see only the waiters. So in order to achieve that, I will use the filter, and I will ask the system to show me only the qualified users for waiters. And then I will get a dedicated list. One more feature that I want to share with you is the shift templates. So shift templates are frequently used shifts that instead of creating them again and again and again and again, I can just create them once, save them as template, and they will appear on my templates board. And then when I want someone that will to perform a specific shift, all I have to do is to drag and drop it to the person that I want that will perform the shift. But I want to take it even one step further, okay? I know, guys, that for restaurants, your schedule every week is kind of the same. Maybe the people that are performing the shifts are different, but the structure is the same. So what I can do basically is I can save this a week as template. Let's say this is my week, okay? I'm ready, I'm happy. So all I have to do is to click actions, save weeks template. I will call it as a new week, okay? You can name it as you want, and you can save as many templates as you want. I'll press here confirm. And then when I will go to the next week, I will press action, load week template. Here is the template I just saved. I will click load template, and all the shifts will appear on my board in draft mode. So I can always create changes. And I can even click on actions and unassign the entire week, okay? And you will be able to see that all the shifts will appear again in the shift without users row. And again, all I have to do is to drag and drop the shift to the person that I wanted will perform it. Two more functions that I want to show you in the job scheduler will appear in the settings. So I'll click here, options and settings, and we'll talk about those two. So I know that for restaurants, the schedule is very fluid and very flexible, and it's very important for you to know when your employees are available or unavailable to work. So basically, you can enable your employees to submit unavailability directly from their mobile phone. And of course, it will appear on your schedule. And you can also enable them to find a replacement in case they cannot take the shift, or if something happened and they need to find someone else to replace them. This is it for the job scheduling. I think that's enough for now. We can always dip more, but for now I'll move on to the time clock. So in order to go to the time clock, to open my time clock, I can either click here time clock, but since my job scheduler and time clock are synced, I can simply use the shortcut front of house time clock, and it will take me exactly to the screen I want. So just few words about the time clock, because I'm focusing today on the manager point of view, but I just want you to know that that's the easiest way for your employees to clock in and clock out directly from their mobile phone, and to ask you, the managers, professional requests such as shift request and absence request and break request, and you will be able to approve or decline it within a click. And I will show you exactly how to do that. But for now, I want to focus on this view. So what you can see here as a manager is that we have in the time clock two tabs. We have the Today tab and the Timesheets tab. In the Today tab, basically, I will be able to manage my day-to-day operations, and I'll be able to see all the activities that's happening in my business today. So I can see the list of all my employees. I can see who clocked in, who clocked out, what's the job. I can even see the total hours, the regular hours. And if I'll click on this square icon, I can even customize the different columns to the way I want to see that. So maybe I want to see also double time, and I don't want to see absences. I can even ask the system to show me only the users that scheduled for a shift today, and even all the users scheduled for a shift now. So if I click on that, you will see that Marcus is supposed to work now, but for a reason he didn't clock in. So what I can do in order to communicate with him, I can just click on the bubble icon, and then the chat conversation will open, and I will be able to tell him, hey, where are you? And he will get notified that I just sent him a chat message. So you can see, guys, that our chat is not only a separate feature, it's integrating with the platform. You will be able to open a chat from from every feature in the system, from the job scheduling, from the time clock, from the forms, everything. So we're gathering the information regarding you and your employees' communication in one dedicated place, and also is creating a very clear separation between working life and private life, which are full of distractions and wasting both yours and your employees' time. Moving on. When I will scroll down, I will be able to see on a dedicated map exactly from where my employees clocked in and clocked out, which is very important because you want to make sure they clocked in and out when they are in the restaurants. And if I'll scroll down a little bit more, I will be able to see on a list view all the activity that's happening in my business today, who clocked in, who clocked out, if someone asked for request. Before I move on to the timesheet, I just want to show you the pending request button. So if someone actually asks me for any kind of request, I will be able to approve or decline it directly from this screen. And when I will approve, this information will appear on the timesheet. All right, moving on. Let's talk about the timesheets tab. So the timesheets tab, that's the place where you're conducting your payroll. That's the place when you can see the amount of working hours that were logged in your business for a specific period of time. And when I'm talking about specific period of time, I'm talking about your payroll period. Of course, you can define what's your payroll period, and I will show it to you in a second. It can be once a week, every 2 weeks, twice a month, once a month. That's your choice. When you will select it, this list will appear just as you want. In the colorful boxes, I can see all the totals, the total amount of working hours, absences, regular hours, overtime, and so on. And here I have a list of all my employees and the total amount of working hours for each one of them. If I will click on specific employee, I will get to a personal timesheet card where I can see very quickly, day by day, what was the start time, what was the end time, and what was the job. And of course, every piece of information here is editable. For example, if I know that Kaiden, he started his shift at 9, but he finished at 6, so I can just quickly put here the hour, and everything will match according to my change. And the system also will mark this shift as a shift that someone was editing. I can also add a shift manually. I can add an absence. I can even add a break. I can even lock a specific day or even an entire timesheet, so no one of my managers and no one of my managers will be able to edit this timesheet, and no one of my users will be able to ask any request regarding this specific payroll cycle. Sorry. When I'm happy, when everything is done, I go to next employee and I just do the same process. Now, of course, the most important is how to export. So we have two different ways of exporting. If I want to export only specific timesheet, I do it directly from the personal timesheet card by pressing here on export. But if you want to create a bulk export and to export all of those information in one dedicated report, you do it directly from the timesheets. You click here, export. You have different kind of reports, which the most used for you will be the payroll totals, because you will get exactly this view. You'll get an Excel file with the list of all your employees and the total amount of hours, breaks, and absences for each one of them. When I scroll down, I'll be able to see two different squares here, the job insights and the absence insights. In the job insights, basically, you will be able to see how do you spend your different resources, or in other words, how many working hours your business is spending on each and every job. So we can see that for bartender, you're spending for this specific payroll cycle 143 hours. And if I'll click on that, I'll be able to see who performed this specific job, the total amount of shifts, and the total amount of hours. In the absence insights, I will be able to control my PTO. I will be able to see who is on vacation, who is on sick leave, and so on, as easy as that. Moving on to the settings. Before I touch specific tabs here, I want to tell you guys, it's very important when you're using the time clock to go over each tab and customize it to your restaurants. For example, in the general tab, I want you to select if your restaurant is open every day. Maybe it's closed on Sunday. I can even select which managers can lock a day and can unlock a day, which is very important power to have. If I'll go to the payroll, that's exactly the place where you're defining what's your payroll cycle. Once a week, every 2 weeks, every 4 weeks, twice a month, or once a month. And I want to talk now about the geolocation. So I already mentioned that Connecteam time clock can capture the location from where your employees clocked in and clocked out from. But we have also the ability to create a geofence where your employees will be able to clock in and clock out only when they are inside the fence. So if I'm here, I can't clock in, but if I'm inside the fence, I can clock in. And that's very important because you want to make sure that they are clocking in and out, not when they are on the way to the restaurant, but only when they are in the restaurants. And there is one more way to achieve exactly this thing. We have in Connecteam a kiosk app. By installing your kiosk app on an iPad, for example, and storing the iPad in your restaurants, basically you can limit your employees so they can clock in and clock out only when they're only from the tablet, only from the kiosk. And by doing that, again, you will achieve exactly the same thing, so they can clock in and out only when they're in the restaurants. The last function that I'll talk about is the limitations. So I know for waiters and for bartenders, the shifts hours are very fluid, but for cooks and hosts, for example, is very strict. So by activating the limitations, you can limit your employees so they can clock in and clock out only within a shift time frame. So for example, if you gave me a shift between 4 to 9, I will not be able to clock in before 4. And if I didn't clock in until 9, the system will automatically take me out of the system. That's a very strong tool to have in order to save a lot of time and a lot of money. Moving on to the forms. Okay, so as I said, I was managing tons of different forms when I was working in restaurants. And I know, guys, that you have a food cost report and bar closing checklist and waiters opening shift checklist, so many different forms that you are managing. So I want you guys to show you how to convert those forms into a digital version. So all the papers that you have on your desk will just, you'll be able to throw them directly to the garbage and never use them again. So let me show you an example. This is the forms lobby. I have here all my active forms. I will click on a specific form, Shift Manager Closing Report, and you will see that this is an inside page. So each form will get a dedicated inside page. First of all, I want to show you how does it look from the user point of view. So I'll click here on Preview, and let's see together. And I want you guys to concentrate on the ability of the feature and not on the content, because you can create the form the way you want. So here is the form. I can add an image and description. I can ask them to write the waiters or the host that works today, to rate something. How was the shift? How was the performance of the kitchen, of the cooks? I can ask them to, I can add an yes and no question. I can even ask them to add an image, to record themselves if there is something that they want to tell me. And at the end, I can ask them even to sign. So the form is a bit more official. Of course, as you can see the red dot here, it means that this field is required. So as a user, all I have to do is just to fill quickly the form and press submit. Let me tell you guys that I can share this form with my managers. I can share it even with different users in the system, mobile users, and I can also share it with an external email, an external person. For example, if you're managing a dedicated form for special events and you want to share this form with your clients, that's a possibility. Moving on to the manager point of view. So of course, the most important is to see all the submissions. So if I'll click here on show entries, I'll be able to get the list of all the users that submitted this form. Okay, and when I can see even when did they submit. And when I scroll to the right, I will be able to see all the different fields and all the different answers. If I will click here on the paper icon, I will get a different view. Okay, I will get an individual view that I can just scroll and see exactly what did they answer. I can see the images, I can see the signature, and I can also have a manager fields. So for Abby, the form ended here, but for me as a manager, I just got both email and push notification that a new form has been submitted. So I want to open this form and to see immediately if there is a problem, if there is something I should know, and if I need to feedback Abby. So that's exactly the value of manager fields. I can feedback my employee. I can leave a note. Okay, I can leave any note I want. I can add here, sorry. And I can even create a dedicated status so Abby will know that I'm actually working on it because she wrote me something and I want to tell her that I know that I'm working on it. I can even tag a specific manager that I want to share this submission with. I can even add a signature, just like this. So you can see, guys, that the manager fields are both to feedback your employees, but also to create a communication chain behind the scene of every submission. Of course, every piece of information here is exportable. You can export it to an Excel file. You can also export it to PDF, as easy as that by clicking here, download entry, just one click. When I'm scrolling down, I will be able to see a list of all the employees that I assigned to this specific form and who submitted and who didn't submit. And let's say I want quickly to talk, okay, to communicate with all the people that didn't submit this form. So in order to do that, I will use again the filter and I will ask the system to show me only the users that their status is didn't submit, and I will get a dedicated list. Then quickly I can just check all of them, click on actions, and I have here three main options. I can notify them. I can send each one of them a private message, chat message, but I can also create a team chat with all of them and just send them the message I want. So this is one more example how strong it is to use Connecteam chat. Okay, I hope you're asking enough questions, guys. What's the time? Okay, so we are running out of time. So just for you to know, guys, and to recap what we did today. So we talked about the job scheduling and how easy it is to create your schedule and publish your shifts. We talked about the time clock and how easy it is to conduct your payrolls and for your users, of course, to clock in and clock out. And we talked about your digital forms that will take all your papers out from your working life. Unfortunately, I didn't have the time to talk about the updates, but few words about chat and updates. In the chat, as you already know, you have the ability to create a private chat, a team chat. You can also create a channel, which is a special team chat where only specific users can send messages and the rest can only read. So that's a very strong tool to have to deliver information. You can also create both team groups and channel based on smart groups. Updates, which is a very, very nice feature to engage with your employees and to interact with them. You can send and share any piece of information. For example, today's special that you want them to know before they arrive to the shift. We have also the quick task where you can manage your one-off tasks and special projects. And of course, courses, which is a feature that I really like and I think you can use really every day, because in courses you will be able to create any process, any training for your waiters and host and anyone that's working in your business. And of course, you can also make it as a place to store all your different menus, your specials, your wine list, your contracts, restaurants history. Really, it's like very creative feature. So feel free to explore it yourself. I think this is it. I want to thank you guys for coming and listening to me. I hope it was valuable for you. When I'll finish this Zoom, a survey will appear. I will be more than happy if you'll take one more second to tell us what did you think about this webinar. Thank you very, very much, guys, and have a great day.